Good day to you, Guyana, and welcome to Facing the Nation for today, Friday, the second day of September 2016. I'm Malika Ramsey. Thank you very much for joining us, as you do every week. It is my pleasure to remind you that this is our first program for the month of September, and on that note, I must remind you that we are observing the month of education. Some people say celebrate, but I don't see it as anything to celebrate really, but we're observing Education Month in Guyana. What we are celebrating, however, is Indigenous Heritage Month. Most of you would have known by now that yesterday would have been the official launching of Indigenous Heritage Month there at the Sophia Exhibition Center. So if you get some time, you can just go down there and see what's happening, and it also is a way to help us to culturally mix and mingle and so on, and to learn about each other's cultures and habits. So to all our indigenous citizens, happy Indigenous Heritage Month to you. And of course, as we go along in the month, I will try to get someone from the Ministry of Education, not necessarily the minister, but to talk about the plans and the activities for Education Month, and also what is being done to improve Guyana's education sector, because you know we are very far away from where we want to be when it comes to bettering and improving our education sector. Today, I promised you about a program or two ago that we will have a discussion on what's happening with our children. We've seen in the past few weeks a lot of things that are really unpleasant happening to our children. Unfortunately, I have to bring this up again. We saw a 14-year-old. She was murdered and thrown into a trench. Then there was a 13-year-old boy who was beaten and chopped to death by adults. Another 14-year-old child was found in a cemetery, of course, dead. And then recently, of course, this child is alive and well, but the mother thought that it was okay to plant cocaine in the handle of the suitcase. And I'm saying that there is obviously an attack on our children, and we keep failing them. Today I have two persons who will be talking about this. We know in Guyana we have the Rights of the Child Commission, so it is my pleasure today to welcome for the first time on Facing the Nation the CEO of the Rights of the Child Commission, Mr. Amar Panday. Welcome to you.
Okay, welcome. Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, great to have you. Coming up a little later on, as some of you may remember, Youth Media Guyana is another organization that would have been coordinated to, in a sense, not only talk about and try to help the interest of our children. So I'll have the coordinator for that body on the program. But for now, let's talk to Amar Panday about the state of our children. Even before we go to that, let's talk about the Rights of the Child Commission. And again, viewers, as you know, I always tell you that it's unfortunate that we remember these commissions and these bodies exist. We wait until something happens, and then we pinpoint or turn to these bodies and these organizations. For people who are not sure what's happening and where the position of the Rights of the Child Commission, let's talk about it and the purpose of the Rights of the Child Commission.
All right. The Rights of the Child Commission is part of a family of commissions that were created, so to speak, the last time the Constitution was revised, reformed, so to speak. And the mandate of the Commission is enshrined in our very Constitution, and it speaks to articulating, promoting work to protect and empower the children of Guyana. So it's a mandate that we take very seriously, and also the Commission is driven by a very important international instrument, that is the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child. And the articles in that convention drives our work in terms of our engagement of the different societal stakeholders, so to speak, how we engage them pursuant to the rights and interests of Guyana's children.
Okay, all right. What's happening now with the commission in terms of work being done and so on? Not only to promote the commission, but to let the public know that, look, you're still here and you still have the interests of our children at heart.
Okay. Well, I can speak about one aspect of our work program. Tomorrow, we will be in Bartica, engaging the Guyana Police Force. So I can talk a little about the antecedents of that engagement.
Great.
We did meet with the Commissioner of Police and the entire management team of the Guyana Police Force, and we made the point that the commission would like to help the force, that is, better equip policemen and women in engaging cases relating to children, how they handle cases relating to children. The commissioner and the management team of the force welcomed our proposed engagement, and so a roadmap was drafted out. And the roadmap started with the commission providing capacity building training with the trainers of the recruits of the Guyana Police Force. So the trainers are now in a better... We had 3 workshops with the trainers of the Guyana Police Force. So those trainers are now briefed on the Convention on the Rights of the Child, what are the psychosocial responsibility of policemen in handling children's cases, how they understand issues of poverty as this affect children, leadership, professional ethics. It was a very, very fulfilling engagement for us, engaging the trainers. And now the next part of the roadmap entails engaging the police in the respective regions. So tomorrow we will be in Region 7, Bartica, engaging the police of Bartica as well as the accessible stations to Bartica on this same initiative. I should have mentioned that we did it in Region 2.
And what was you did it in Region 2 with police, with the police. What was the response like? Because I'm interjecting here too, because we always complain, and this is not only in this case about children, it's about women. We always complain that it seems that our police ranks do not know how to deal with women who are abused and so on, and I guess children come into play. What was the response you got in Region 2?
Well, I can speak definitively on this, even when we engage the trainers. You know, a lot of time the police get a lot of flack. They're unprofessional. And we know the Guyana scenario, but I can speak on our engagement with the force when we started to engage the trainers. They were very, very receptive. They welcomed our engagement, even when we were in Saudi, the police training school in Saudi. This workshop had police station sergeants, that is from Charity to Aurora, even the Escobar Islands. And they very much welcomed our intervention. And so I'm very, very happy with their reception of our message to them.
This includes both male, and I know, I'm not trying to get you to speak for the Guyana Police Force, but one of the things that we keep saying is that maybe the Guyana Police Force needs to look into recruiting more female police officers, because when we hear women and children issues, we tend to more gravitate to a female officer. But in terms of your training and so on, this includes both male and female. And my other question too is also, were the men really seem as though they can take in whatever it is that you have to offer in terms of training, and they can put it into practice? Did you get that sense?
I like I said, I was very satisfied with their reception of our message. One of the things that came out of, because at the end of this engagement, when we've engaged all the police of Guyana in all the regions, we will now take to the Commissioner and the Minister of Public Security a document that entails our recommendations to the force vis-a-vis children, how the police engage children, as well as some general aspects of how they can improve the performance of the force. And one thing I can say definitively, one recommendation coming out of the engagement of the trainers and at SADI is that the time allocated for the training of a policeman or woman, meaning how you convert someone from a civilian to a law enforcement officer, that time has to be extended. I think it's about 4 months, and the trainers are saying that that is an insufficient time to equip the recruits with the complete gamut of knowledge and skills, and in that array of knowledge and skills would be how they related and how they handle children's cases. So that's one recommendations we're making to the force, that time has to be increased. And this is not we didn't pick this out of thin air. This came out of our engagement.
Yeah, this is what you discovered. You talked about going to Bartica tomorrow, and of course you did just talk about the fact that you've completed the training in Region 2. And when I think about these far away regions, hinterland communities especially, one of the first things that jump out of me, and only last week I spoke to the Minister of Natural Resources on this, the mining areas. We always hear about our women and our girls being trafficked. How much on the Rights of the Child Commission's radar is that issue, trafficking in persons, of course?
Yeah. It's a very important part of our work. One of the agencies or international organizations we work with is the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, and they recently had a children and business, the obligation of business to the protection of children in Guyana, and so they focused on the mining industry, and we were part of that engagement, engaging miners in all regions, underscoring to them the importance of protecting our children, but more on the point of our hinterland children and Amerindian children. As recently, just in this year, there was a situation analysis done by UNICEF through the Ministry of Social Protection. RCC was part of that engagement, and the situation analysis found that hinterland children, well, this is common knowledge to us, we don't need a situation analysis to say that hinterland children and Amerindian children, as well as children with disabilities, are the particularly vulnerable children in Guyana. And so in 2016, we have been engaging respective Amerindian communities in the regions. We've been to Region 1, Region 2, Region 7, Region 9, Region 8, engaging these communities in our community building workshops. And a very important part of the objective of those workshops is to establish a channel of communication with the Commission. So Warramadong, we've been to Warramadong in the center in Upper Mazaruni. Now that the Tushaw and the council, they have a connection, a relationship with us in Georgetown. In any case of abuse, they can quickly relate that to us, or neglect, they can quickly relate that to us. And then we take, as is enshrined in our constitutional mandate, we take the case from there.
Okay, all right, great. Viewers, if you're now tuning in, of course, this is Facing the Nation. Today I am chatting with the CEO of the Rights of the Child Commission. Of course, as I did say in previous programs, we need to address the state of our children. So we're talking about the work of the Rights of the Child Commission and, of course, the general state of our children. Amar, you talked about the training for the police and the training for trainers, and you just talked about the fact that you've gone into hinterland communities and so. Again, I know physically Guyana is very big and we're spread across. Are there going to be systems or programs put in place to do follow-ups? Because, again, it's human nature. We tend to fall back on our bad habits even after being trained. Is the Commission in a position to set up follow-up visits or follow-up training if needs be?
Yeah. We have been, like I said, the channel of communication that we are looking to establish in these hinterland communities would entail us doing those follow-ups. But one of the things I can talk about here is that the commission is a very small commission. We have a very small core of staff. And if we are going to endeavor to undertake that kind of follow-up, we would need to expand the budget as well as the staff core of the commission. As a matter of fact, one of the activities that happened during 2016 is UNICEF sponsored a study visit, so to speak, where our commissioners, I think they went to Belize, and the study was happening by the commission in Belize. Was happening in that entity to promote, and one of the prime findings is that they have a bigger commission with bigger resources and budget.
Okay, all right. Indeed, a lot to take in. You did mention social protection. Let's talk about the kind of support that you're getting from the Ministry of Social Protection and possibly what other ministries the Commission may need to be liaising on with to ensure efficient and sufficient function.
Yeah, well, part of our work program, most of our work program entails engaging the respective ministries and trying to channel our message through their work. So we have been working very closely with Ministry of Social Protection, Ministry of Education, Public Security, most recently Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs. Just last Saturday, we had a one-day workshop with the two Shaws who were recently here for the NTC. Meeting the two Shaws, establishing that channel of communication with them, and sharing aspects of the convention with them, sharing some of the CRC recommendations vis-a-vis hinterland communities, and getting them on board the task of protecting, educating, and empowering the children of indigenous children of Guyana.
All right. You and I talked a bit off camera about the fact that Rights of the Child Commission seem a bit quiet. We want to talk about, because even though we talked about it off camera, viewers might be wondering, but okay, why because you have given a lot of information thus far, and you have highlighted that Rights of the Child Commission is there and it's still functioning. Let's talk a bit about, if those measures are not yet in place, what measures may be upcoming to put your work out there a little more, because we need to know that our commissions, our organizations, our ministries are working.
Yeah. Well, I agree fully with what you're saying. When we do our internal review, that is one of the areas that we always highlight as something to be addressed, our engagement with the public through the media. And but like I said, our staff core is very small, and our budget is also very small. So we have made provisions for this in our budget.
Great.
That we are requesting from the state for 2017 work program.
Okay, and you're confident that it will be accepted? Well. I know it's money. I know I'm putting you on the spot there. Of course, viewers, I have to begin to wrap up my discussion with Amar very soon. But Amar, again, it's a commission. You're working on the inside. There may be things that I don't know. Is there anything that you feel the need to let us know in terms of the work of the commission at this point?
Well, like I said, we are working very hard. We have been engaging the societal stakeholders, the ministries, NGOs, other civil society entities, pursuing the objective, the philosophy of the convention, that is, establishing the best interest of the child. So, let's say in our engagement with the police or our engagement with the medical professionals, after our engagement with them, after a workshop with them, when they address or handle a case that involves children, their prime motivating motive should be allowing the best interest of the child to prevail.
But what is the commission's current position, if not the commission, yours, on what is really happening with our children? Because apart from those things that I mentioned, I feel that our children have been somewhat left to just lag behind. If it's not our children, we don't, really take an interest. I know I often hear the older folks saying, yes, we need to get back to the days when it took a village to raise a child. What really is the commission's position on all of these things that seem to be happening with our children?
Well, the commission is very concerned in any case where a child is neglected, abused, left in a situation that is not conducive to his or her empowerment, education, protection. And that is why our work program is very hectic, engaging the relevant all and every stakeholder who would have some intervention with our children in Guyana. I can talk, you didn't ask this question, but I can go ahead and talk. We are very proud of the work that we have done at the NOC. As you know, the NOC has been in the news over the years for allegations of maltreatment and so forth. We have engaged the staff core since my, well, even before my assumption as CEO, we have engaged the staff core with a very comprehensive training program, underscoring the convention and their professional responsibility to the children resident at the NOC. And we are very...
seeing results.
We have seen some results, and we're very happy with the work that we have done there. All is not rosy at NOC, but at least we are very proud of improvement at that facility. Also, the children, we have been able to engage children at the NOC to tell them that this is not the end of the road, and when they return to their communities, we would like to see them reintegrated as productive citizens of their communities.
Next week, I also plan to have the Director of Social Services, and I want to talk about the homes, our children's homes across our country, and I'll talk to him about that. But at this point, does the Rights of the Child Commission take an interest in what happens at those homes too?
Very much so. Let me talk, and again, I'm very proud of this. In Region 6, we have been responsible for the creation and training of an entire NGO called Project Hope. Project Hope is a grouping of Berbice Campus University students, and they do counseling, mentoring in the children's homes of Region 6. You know, there are many children's homes spanning from New Amsterdam, Albion, Port Morant. And RCC has worked very closely with this NGO, giving them the training, the resources to make a positive intervention in the homes of Berbice. We have done very close collaboration with the Red Cross Convalescent Home in Georgetown. And we've worked very, very closely with the others. We were very, very sad with the fire.
Yes.
And we are working with the CCPA to ensure that the standards are set for the children's homes so that there will never be a repeat of anything of that sort again.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, CEO of Rights of the Child Commission. I hope Facing the Nation, I'm not going to say me, but I hope Facing the Nation at this point didn't grill you too much, and I hope to have you back soon to talk about some of the, again, the things that you would have achieved, and, you know, as you go further and propel into doing more for our nation's children.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, and I am available to chat with you at any time.
All right, great, no problem. Viewers, this is Facing the Nation. Of course, if you missed this conversation, you missed a very informative one with the CEO of the Rights of the Child Commission, Amar Panday. What I'll do now is show to you a video that explains what the United Nations Convention on the Rights of the Child is about. Of course, this video was taken from one of the YouTube channels. Again, if you missed this conversation, you can catch it a little later on in the day on both my YouTube channel, for those of you who follow me on social media, on YouTube, and of course, you can also catch it on Facebook. After that video, I hope to be chatting with the coordinator of Youth Media Guyana, Mrs. Andrea Bryan Garner. Stay with Facing the Nation.